The Tech softball season is underway, and head coach Josh Taylor is hopeful that they have the DNA needed to return to the NCAA tournament. On Tech Drive with Josh Taylor today, impactful youth, experience, staff alignment, and building a Bulldog culture. Tech Drive continues today with a focus on softball. Fifth-year head coach and two-time league coach of the year steps into the box. He's Josh Taylor. I'm the voice of the Bulldogs, Kyle Schasberger. 4-0 start this past weekend. We're already underway. That's not too shabby, Coach.
Great start. I mean, we had a lot of contributions this weekend, so really excited about the depth of our team and how we powered through 4 games this weekend.
Let's pull back some of the layers from this weekend's performance first. Then we'll discuss the team big picture, its identity, and also your own personal journey to Louisiana Tech. How pleased were you with the team's ability to take care of business in the manner they did? You had a close game one. You had an extra innings game on the final game of the weekend. It seemed like you had a lot of different scenarios to play with and plug in a lot of different pieces.
Yeah, we had a lot of learning that happened about who people were this weekend, which is kind of what you want to get out of your non-conference schedule. You want to plug and play some pieces, see how they work in certain spots, whether it's starting or off the bench. And we got a lot of contributions this weekend from a lot of different people. And, freshmen played very well this weekend. And that was really exciting for us because it just gives them more confidence going into a long season. And, our pitching staff, all 5 pitchers contributed in some form or fashion. And it was really nice to see how, Chelsea's built a pitching staff that really complements each other, and I feel real good about how we can get through lineups multiple times with different looks, and that was a little bit on display this weekend as well, where we keep them off balance.
Yeah, I want to pull on the freshman angle for a little bit. You have 7 of them, 10 newcomers in total, and one of them's already CUSA Freshman of the Week, and Brianna Campos. These young impact players, I mean, looking at all of them, you have Elena Hang, who won the school's first ever Golden Glove. Just I think the second ever freshman to do so last year. She moves over from left field to center field. And then there's Galloway, who had gone deep this past weekend. Brady Galloway, she hit a home run. She's a freshman. Also, Allie Furr, who's a redshirt sophomore, is from Cedar Creek in Ruston. Another true freshman in Carolina Edson, who you deployed as a pinch runner at Southern Miss. I mean, you were really looking to develop these girls right out of the gate.
You missed 2 big names. I'm just going to mention Aaliyah Brooks from Wyoming, who, I think she hit over 500 this weekend with multiple doubles. And then Callie Bennett also did a fantastic job for us. Got in a start in right field, went 2 for 3 in her start. We were able to use her as a defense replacement in game 2, and she's electric as well. So, Galloway, some of the plays she made at shortstop this weekend were as good as you're going to see for any age shortstop, and she got multiple comments and compliments from opposing coaches on how good she was. I mean, she made some plays that were unreal, and they're all starting to figure it out on the offensive end. But yeah, development's a big part of our program, and it's definitely something we want to be about. We want to not only recruit highly talented players, but we want to recruit highly coachable, talented players that want to develop and get better and see where their journey at Louisiana Tech can take them. And I think they're all buying into that, and it's pretty exciting right now, especially right out of the gate, to see them excel early in their first year.
With Elena, help me understand. She wins a Gold Glove as a true freshman and isn't even on the preseason all-conference team?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. But, those are preseason picks by coaches, and you never know which way those things are going to go. I mean, I certainly think she was deserving of an all-conference nod out of the gate, and she's moved over to center field now, and she's patrolling that and made some plays this weekend as well, and then had a really good offensive weekend too. So, it's interesting to see that. I mean, it's motivation. That's all it is. All the preseason stuff can be taken in one of 2 ways. You can use it to motivate you, or you can use it not to let you get too big of a head. I mean, it's all just conjecture to a certain point, and you have to go out and perform on a daily basis. And that's been our message to them is, listen, let your play speak. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks.
We'll get to a couple of those other impact players with big preseason accolades here in a moment, but I want to go back to Friday's opener where you're playing Lipscomb. You're down 2 in the 6th inning, 2-0. You strike for 6 runs in the bottom of the 6th. Galloway with the solo homer, and then Hang came through with a 2-out, 2-run single, and you must have been very proud in the first game, the resiliency that your team showed to weather the storm and come back for the one-run victory.
Yeah, I think they just stayed with it. I mean, we know our offense can be explosive, and we were just waiting for something to loosen it up a little bit. And Galloway's home run in the bottom of that sixth inning really just kind of loosened us up a little bit, and then we were able to follow up with another couple quality at bats. And then Hang gets the opportunity with runners on second, third, and two outs, and hits a ground ball up the middle that's kind of choppy. She's going to beat it at first, and it didn't even get to the outfield. I don't know. It wasn't on TV, so I don't think people saw the base running of Allie Furr when they tried to pivot it to first to get Hang, and she beat it out, and Allie was able to just pivot and beat the throw to the plate for the go ahead run. I mean, it was just really good base running. We tell them, run until I stop you, and she was going full out, and I never stopped her, and it was her read, and she did a great job with it. So once again, some youth there really, really coming out. But we can run at the top half, which makes it nice, and it makes us definitely lethal, and it's particularly in that situation. Hang using her legs and using the ground to get it done was awesome. And she did that a lot this weekend. She was on base all the time. She was exciting.
And that come from behind victory on Friday, 3-2. You followed up with wins over UAB and SEMO, and then in Sunday's finale, you completed the sweep against the host team in Southern Miss, where you went to extra innings, tied at 3, and then you ignited for 5 runs in the 8th inning for that victory. So a strong 4-0 start for your team, and really the headliners we go back to as far back as we can. I mean, opening weekend was just this past weekend, but talking of those preseason accolades, 2 of your main returning pieces, and there's so many. There's every area of this field defensively and of course offensively, the lineup. Anybody can strike at any moment, but Allie Floyd and Reagan Marchand are the 2 that took home preseason player of the year accolades. Floyd, back for her final year, preseason pitcher of the year in the league. Let's start with her. She led the conference in wins last year, strikeouts, innings, appearances, complete games. We talked to Chelsea Cohen-Krabensky back in the fall extensively on Allie. How excited are you for what she can bring here in her final season?
She's just a rock at the top of our rotation. I mean, she wasn't happy with her performance opening weekend. She's not going to like me saying this, but I'm a little excited about that because I know how Allie Floyd functions as a human being, and she's extremely competitive, and she's going to let that drive her into this next week. And so I'm excited about her response. And she's always responded every single time she's been challenged with anything that's been thrown at her. And so I'm excited about Allie, and she's just a rock mentality, and she's a true bulldog in the sense of the word, as far as going out there and giving us quality innings every single time she starts a game, and finding a way to get people out regardless of how her stuff is that day. As far as Reagan's concerned, she needs to learn. She learned a lot this weekend too. This is that people are going to pitch around her. And so she's only going to get maybe one good pitch and at bat, maybe, depending on how that count flows. But she's going to learn to be patient, and when she gets the pitch that she can handle, she's going to start handling that. And she had some really good at bats this weekend as well. She just was a little frustrated, I think, with how people were pitching her. A lot of slow stuff, a lot of changeups, a lot of stuff off the plate, and so she took a bunch of walks and those types of things. But that's what she's got to do, and she was able to pass the bat. Where we had 2 freshmen behind her, and then Reese Torres was right behind her on Sunday, and Reese cleaned it up. And it was really nice to see those 3 kind of get it done all weekend in the fact that they were throwing around. And that's just goes with those preseason accolades with both of those. Every team's going to be geared up against those 2 kids, and they need to understand that they need to do what they can do to help the team win, and they definitely understand that. And I was proud of both of their performances this weekend.
Reagan transferred in from South Carolina last year, clobbered a new school record, 18 home runs a year ago. She was one of just the 3rd in school history with at least 50 hits and 50 RBIs in a single season. She was on the first team last year with Allie, first team All-CUSA. You brought up Torres. Torres' number, 99, is that right? And then Campos, who took home Freshman of the Week honors for a pitching performance, appeared in 3 games, started 1, didn't allow any runs. She wears 72. Where are we getting all these crazy numbers from?
Yeah, Rosalie wears 91. So we have some interesting numbers. You know what? I don't know where they get them from. They mean something to them, and we just ask them what number you want to be, and you can have any number 1 through 99, and then here's our returners' numbers, and they pick, and that's what they chose. So I don't know. I like it. I mean, both of our catchers one wears 99 and one wears 91. So let's go. They're like the field the centers of the, so to speak, of the softball field. So they run the show, and they control the defensive side of things. So it's fun to watch, but I don't know where they get those numbers from.
Well, the numbers is how we identify these players on the field. It is sports. And I think that's a great segue for kind of the makeup in regards to how you build this team and where you recruit from. There's a strong pipeline to North DeSoto High School in Stonewall with three rostered players from there. Two are from Bossier City and Airline High School. Eight are from Louisiana in total, but you're infiltrating Texas, California, which I know you had coached there back in your day, from Reno. We'll get there. We'll get to that stage of the conversation later, but a few other states. While you have one from Australia, right, Ruby?
Ruby Fidge is from Adelaide, Australia. Yeah, she did a great job this weekend. Chelsea and Tyler are both very well connected internationally. They have their international story is amazing, and I was fortunate enough to know Chelsea before that. I've known Chelsea since she was in high school. So, and then Chelsea introduced me to Tyler, and the rest is history. But I know Chelsea. I wanted Chelsea so bad as a pitching coach, and when I called her when I was coming to Tech, she thought I was calling her about the pitching coach, be my pitching coach at Nevada. And when I told her Louisiana Tech, yeah, there was a lot of decisions to be made at that point for her, but I'm so grateful for both of them. But their international ties is kind of what brought Ruby to us, and they know families over there. They both spent time in Australia playing and doing a lot of community service and coaching and all types of things over there. And so, that connection paid off, and now we have Ruby Fidge, and she's been great for us so far, and she's an amazing young woman.
Well, the moral of the story too is I think you got to know you got to go outside the state, right? You got to find certain hotbeds. So, you're certainly no stranger to that. That's what it takes.
Yeah, our recruiting base is coast to coast. I mean, we have Reagan Marchand from Hilton Head, South Carolina. It's about as far east as you can go. We have Callie Bennett from Huntington Beach, California. We have, and then we have everything in between, from Aaliyah Brooks being from Cheyenne, Wyoming. I mean, we're all over the map and everywhere in between. And we want to recruit local. We want to recruit this I-20 corridor, especially this northern, and the whole state. But we also want to make sure we're bringing in the best talent and the best fits for our program. And so, we search high and low for all of them. We have, our next couple recruiting classes, we're blended in from Louisiana all the way to California again. So I think that we just want to make sure we're finding the best fits for Louisiana Tech and our program, and then the best talent that we can find to bring in as well.
And you were recruited to come here from the University of Nevada, where you started as a baseball player. You were the head softball coach for 5 seasons when former AD Eric Wood made you the offer to come to Ruston in the summer of 2021. What was it about this place that made the timing right for you and your family?
Oh, that's a very loaded question. There's a lot of things that tie me to Nevada. And when my daughter was born there, I met my wife there. My wife still has family there. It was tough to leave a place like Nevada for me, especially as an alumni and a former player. But when you look at that transition, I wasn't really looking for a job. What happened was Berkeley Callip, who's a Louisiana Tech alumni, was one of my assistant coaches. And she heard some of the things that I was going through within the softball program, because she was an assistant coach. So she got all the inner workings of it. And she reached out to Malcolm. Malcolm reached out to me, and wheels got turning. And, I decided to go ahead and interview. And I wasn't really looking for a job at that particular moment. But, there was something about Louisiana Tech that I was really interested in. And it started with Berkeley Callip telling me about Louisiana Tech, and Berkeley telling me about Ruston and the community and the entire environment that, what in my opinion still to this day makes up Louisiana Tech, from Dr. Henderson all the way to now Ryan Ivey, at the time Dr. Wood, and all the way through it, and Malcolm and how tied he was to our program, and those types of things really piqued my curiosity. And then when I finally interviewed and came out for an in-person interview, I was sold on the people. The people were incredible. Obviously, the facilities sell themselves. I felt like we could win here. We could really recruit here. I felt it was a safe community that had a lot of community support. There were a lot of things that just matched my value system at Louisiana Tech and really matched what I wanted to build in a softball program. And when you have all those pieces intertwining and aligning, I don't think that you can pass that up. And that's when the decision was made to leave Nevada and come to Louisiana Tech. But it was a tough decision at the time, when you're leaving a place like that. But it's definitely a decision I have no regrets on, and it's one of the best coaching decisions I've made in my entire career.
That's beautiful. I appreciate you sharing. That was one of the biggest questions that I had always, waiting to talk with you and get to learn more about your story, from where you were and what you were doing. And for whatever reason, maybe the timing was right for a fresh start and to try something new and take a leap of faith. And from a former player at Tech who's your assistant, connects you with Malcolm Butler. And that explains a lot as well. But just the relationship continued to just snowball from there. You come here, you see the place, and it just pulls on you in ways that are sometimes impossible to explain. But you just did a tremendous job. And once Josh Taylor arrived, the culture shift was instant. Your first of two Coach of the Year honors came in year one. You got to the Bulldogs to the regular season title in the league. He won 18 of the final 21 games. He and the Dogs, 39 wins in 22, tied for the seventh most in program history, 18 in the league, the second most. And this all came while picked to finish seventh in the preseason. He had no representation, talking about preseason accolades. There was nobody on that team. Looking back, how was it you were able to manufacture such immediate success?
It started with stabilizing the program, so to speak. I mean, when we got here, they'd been through the gauntlet of coaches. I mean, Lindsay Edwards was here still, and I was her fourth coach in 4 years. So we needed to establish that we were here and we were going to stay here and we weren't going to abandon them and we were going to develop them. And it started early in the first team meeting, and it kind of just started to grow. And a lot of people don't remember, but we were off to an okay start, but we were 9-6 after our first 15, and kind of still trying to figure each other out. And then we ran off, I think, 11, 12 conference games in a row to win that championship. And the way we did it in walk-off fashion against Southern Miss, ironically, was it was just a special year. But it was first establishing continuity and stabilizing Louisiana Tech as what they had been. I mean, they had a lot of success in 2000, 17, 18, 19, those years. Those are years that Berkeley was there. I had some inside information with Berkeley, kind of guiding me on what the key to their success was and what Ruston was all about. And it was just stabilizing it, getting them, certain things that they deserved and needed to feel like they were Division I athletes. And then on the field stuff was just, we I'll say it this way, and it's taken me a long time to get there, but we took care of all the low hanging fruit immediately, whether it be equipment or gear or all of those. That got handled. That's easy stuff to handle. We handled that all immediately, and then the work started on the field. And once we got buy-in from them, they just kept getting better and better and better and better and better. And the next thing we knew, we looked up and we were Conference USA champions. And the year flew by. It felt like it was a blink of an eye before it was over. But it's just buy-in. We got buy-in, and we got them to believe in Louisiana Tech, and it was a special year. It was a special year with a bunch of special young women.
And it takes the alignment too of those around you on your staff, right? You've talked about Tyler and Chelsea already. And if anybody missed the conversation with Chelsea Cohen-Kravetsky, go back, find that. It's in the fall, from the fall on Tech Drive, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you podcast. But the story of bringing them here and asking, Chelsea to come be your pitching coach here. And yeah, their love story, love in softball is beautiful in and of itself. But how the relationship and how it grew between you, Tyler, and Chelsea. Can you speak more to that and how difficult it might have been in trying to bring them to Ruston at the time?
This is a real easy conversation for me because Chelsea and Tyler mean the world to me. They're like family. It's just really simple, and it was hard. I mean, I got to know Chelsea a little bit in high school when she was already committed to Arkansas. I actually recruited her best friend to play with me at a junior college in California. It's when I was still just starting in softball, and so I had a relationship with Tess, who is now working for the San Francisco Giants, and that's Chelsea's best friend. And so I got to know Chelsea and her family at that time. And then Chelsea was a volunteer pitching coach for us at Nevada when I was still assistant there. So I got to know her a little more there. And that's when she left to go overseas for 6 years. And she had come back, and then I'd met Tyler. And they were doing camp stuff, and they were doing private lessons and all these things. And I convinced Tyler to come be my volunteer assistant at Nevada, and got to know Tyler over those course of those 2 years really well. He'd show up for practice. He did a great job with our catchers during that time. And when you're spending so much time with somebody, then you really get to know who they are. And I fell in love with Tyler too. I mean, I couldn't do what I do without those two. I didn't mean to rhyme there, but I certainly couldn't do it. And having, I remember making the call to Chelsea, and like I said before, she thought I was calling her for the pitching job at Nevada, and Tyler had been in my ear a little bit because I was around Tyler a little more than Chelsea at that point in my career, but. He's saying, yeah, she really wants to get back in the game. And I was really excited about it because Chelsea, I know what she's capable of as a pitching coach.
So there's a little bit of scheming behind the scenes.
A little bit. It was Tyler just saying she really wants to get back into the game, and then Chelsea would refuse to let Tyler talk to her about our pitchers because she would come watch the games, and she just has a keen mind for it. It goes so far beyond what she knows pitching though with Chelsea, and I hope she understands this, and I think she does, but it goes into the relationship part of how she builds her pitchers as well. It's a really exciting thing to kind of watch, and we're a little bit unique as a staff because I don't deal with the pitchers at all. Matter of fact, I try not to. I try to stay far away from them because I think they need one voice in their head all the time. Chelsea makes the trips. Chelsea calls the pitches. They have to have a relationship that goes beyond anything else, and I understand that, especially how important softball pitching is to softball. That our pitchers have to be tuned in with that one message. And she knows what my thoughts are on the pitching side. So Chelsea can convey anything that I'm thinking to them at any point in time. She just tends to do it a little bit better than me, especially she spends so much time with them in the bullpen. But when I called Chelsea to ask her to be my pitching coach at Louisiana Tech, like I said, she thought I was calling about Nevada. And then I told her Louisiana Tech, and I think she cried. I think there's a lot of crying that went on because she knew some decisions were going to have to be made. It took them 2 weeks to decide, and I was willing to wait. And when they finally, it was one of the best phone calls I've gotten in my career when she called, and Tyler and her both called me on speakerphone, and all I heard them both say was, "We're in," and I was stoked because I knew then we were going to be a great coaching staff. And when you have a great coaching staff, you can do great things, and you've seen the results on the field over the last 4 years, and we think there's still brighter days in front of us. And to have people like that around you, it just doesn't get any better in the coaching world. It just doesn't. If I was to miss a practice, I would have no doubt that we wouldn't skip a beat on any single day. And the same goes for them. I mean, they were growing their family. And that's really important to me, that I'm flexible with that. And I give them those moments that they need and that they deserve. And they're just real special people to me. And I don't know how else to explain it. I'm going to get emotional if I keep talking about it. As you can tell, I start rambling when I get emotional. So here I go. But they're just great. But it's a great story. And their story in itself is amazing, as you heard when she was here. And all those things, all those stories and all those tie-ins to who we are, it translates to our team too. It translates to our players. So we can be not just somebody that's looked at as a disciplinarian or a coach, because we have extremely high standards and expectations for them on the field. But they know they can come to us off the field and chat with us and talk to us. And it just makes for a better environment. And I think our environment is as good as they get in college softball.
No, that's so cool. What additional value does your third assistant provide in Maddie Green? We might as well give her flowers too as well.
Maddie Green played for us. She was a senior. Her last year of college softball was our first year at Louisiana Tech. And all she did was, her story is unique in itself too. And she's the bridge sometimes because she's closer to their age, and she helps me understand lingo and language and all these types of things. But her story, she didn't play a lot when she first started with us in the first, I would say 10, 12 games. And people forget about her story and her journey. And she just kept getting better and better. And she ends up hitting 13 home runs and being our starting right fielder. And a big reason why we won a championship there. And her attitude and her effort and her family, everything was just spot on. And that's one of the reasons we brought her back. And she's learning as a coach. And man, you see how good our outfielders are. Our outfielders are legit. And that's a big reason, just Maddie Green being able to translate messages and show them and teach them and tell them her story. And then, I'll give Maddie even more kudos right now. I mean, this is me having to trust my assistant coaches, and Maddie's not as seasoned as a recruiter yet, but Brianna Campos is only here because of Maddie Green. I mean, me, Chelsea, and Tyler went to PGF Nationals out in Huntington Beach, California. At that same time, the Alliance Cup is going on in Indianapolis. I send Maddie to Indianapolis to recruit that tournament. She was nervous, but she brought back that name, Brianna Campos, because it was late. Campos, we didn't get till late July, August of this past year, and so it was really late to get Campos. And she goes, "I have this kid. She's interesting to me. I think we like her." And sooner or later, I knew I needed another arm. and I knew I had to trust my assistants. And kudos to Maddie Green because she's freshman pitcher of the week. Campos had a great weekend. She's all left-handed as you can get, if you know what I mean. She is quirky and confident and all these things, and it's awesome to watch. She's a lot of fun, but she's got really good stuff. And for Maddie to identify that and know what we were looking for out of that pitcher to complement the other ones we had already brought in was a testament to Maddie Green. And we are a dynamic staff, in my opinion. And hopefully she understands that she's earned my trust. And if Brianna Campos doesn't put a big explanation point on that, then I don't know what does. But she does a great job, and she has sometimes the dirty jobs too, and the jobs that nobody wants to do, and she doesn't complain. She gets it done, and I couldn't be more proud of her and her coaching journey.
Well, Campos seems like quite the dog. She was striking a Heisman pose at one point too in that game against Southern Miss. So yeah, great find by Maddie Green. I was going to say that's interesting. With her age, being closer to the players, still kind of fairly young and green in her coaching career, but her being someone who wore the uniform at Tech. Just a few short seasons ago, she was the second team all conference, selection in her final year, which was your first.
I think she should have been first team that year as well, but yeah, she bleeds Tech blue, and she really just she embodies everything that we want our players to look like and how they want to go about their business on a daily basis. And she understands what made her successful at the college level. And so her being closer to them, sometimes she has their ear a little bit. I mean, I can talk about my back in my day all I want, but it really doesn't translate to our players. Not to mention I was a baseball player, and my players don't care about anything that I did in my career. They just don't. They want to know what I'm going to teach them, how I'm going to treat them, and how we're going to go about our business. And so Maddie has that connection with them a little bit more as far as being able to bridge that gap. And she definitely handles that role like a champ.
Well, speaking of bleeding the colors or what it is you wear, you can be a proud Bulldog or Lady Texter. Go to Patton's downtown. There's Patton's Western wear as well. You can get you ready for any style of your life, everyday life, the job, game days, any occasion, including the outdoorsman and you at Patton's Western wear in Patton's downtown. Hundreds of uniquely designed and officially licensed Bulldog Lady Texters gear. You can find it all when you shop at Patton's, a North Louisiana tradition since 2007. So you've got coaches who have played here like Maddie Green, Josh, one in particular, but still you have a lot of experience with this team. You have 4 players in particular who before this past weekend had played a combined, I have it here, 353 games between 4 of them in Gina Bafudu, Allie Floyd, Kaylee Greeley, and Alana Rogers. I mean, 353 games combined between those 4. We've documented intensely already the youth and everything in between. What would you say the strength is of this team here 4 games in? And heading into the future, what do you want the strength to be?
Just, culture. I mean, nobody's above anybody. We have our 4 seniors are incredible leaders, first and foremost, whether it's Kaylee Greeley, Gina Bafudo, Allie Floyd, or A1. Elena Rogers. They all have different stories and different journeys. They all have written different scripts to their own stories. But all those stories create value to our culture. And they're able to share that with our younger kids, our younger players to help them realize. I mean, they're all just on the same page. The single goal of this team is to win games, get to a regional, do those things, yes, but there's more to it than that within our program, I like to think. And it's about Louisiana Tech. It's about representation of our program. It's about representation of our university and their families and everybody that when we're on the road that we're representing. And I think our players embody that and just do a fantastic job in all those areas. I mean, having those games and that experience certainly creates and empathy from our older players to our younger players. I don't think they have any sympathy for anything they're going through, but they certainly empathize with some of the things that they'll go through this season, whatever that may be. And a lot of those things we just don't know yet. But I think that kind of leadership really guides and leads and keeps things, keeps our feet on the ground and keeps us grounded to be able to, achieve the things that we want to achieve together. I mean, we've had meetings with all of our players about those very things, and our seniors certainly embody that with them being here for, all 4 of those girls have been here all 4 years. A1's story, she didn't even travel her first year. Gina's got her story with not pinch running and in and out of the lineup for 3 years now, and same with Kaylee Greeley. And then you have Floyd, who's pitched since day one and had all this success. So there's so many different journeys involved in all four of those players that it really just brings clarity for the younger ones on anything they may be going through, whether it's a playing time thing or I want to play more or I want this or I need the blah, whatever it may be. Those four have the answer. And I think when you have that kind of presence in the clubhouse, it makes for an electric culture.
Well, speaking of culture, that's what I wanted to hit on next, and really your goals, your expectations. I think it goes without saying you want to win another conference title and you want to get to the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's the goal, and not just get there. Maybe wreak some havoc, but you got to win the conference title first. You got to get to the tournament. Folks may not be aware there is some strong history in terms of the postseason. 3 times Louisiana Tech has gone to the Women's College World Series, but last time was 40 years ago, 1986. So, no better way to end that than certainly this season. And I'm curious about the chemistry and the togetherness in which your team operates. One that was picked second behind Liberty entering this year in the league, but their ability to value themselves, I think, is so critical off the field if they're going to be able to attain what it is they want throughout this season.
A lot of softball players, their identity is through the sport. And we actually try to break that a little bit so they can have some balance in their lives. And the culture piece is critical in college softball. If you don't have, if you're not together and you're not cohesive as a group, things start to crumble in little spots. And it may not break, but you can certainly, when softball players feel like there's that around them, they don't play to the best of their ability. And so having that culture and that togetherness, regardless of how much you're playing or how much you think you should be playing or whatever the thing that happens in players' heads throughout the course of a season, if the team is together and all on the same page all the time, it just makes for a better story and a better result on the field, because every role on our team is valuable, whether it's pinch running, pinch hitting, a bullpen catcher. All those roles are extremely valuable to the success of a team, and we're really trying to get that through to them, that if they really want to achieve the goals that they've set, we haven't set those goals, they've set those goals, and if they really want to achieve those goals, they have to stay together. And like I said, those 4 seniors do a great job of that. And then we have other leaders. I mean, Elena Hang is an incredible leader. I mean, Reagan Marchand as a junior is an incredible leader. So we have those pieces in place to really make sure that people are staying the course and we're doing the right things on a daily basis to win a championship, because it does take that. We talk about details all the time, whether it be in our cut and relay rotation. We won games this weekend not because we were so good, because we capitalized on things they didn't do well, whether it be a cut and relay. Galloway doesn't score from first on Torres's double, or Brooks's double, if they rotate right. But they rotate off center and they're too deep, and I'm able to send her because she's doing the little things right, the details right, which is run hard, make me stop you. And same with, I talked about Allie Furr's read to score, to take the lead 3-2 against Lipscomb. All those things are so important, and we're going to go over that again tomorrow before practice, that they need to recognize these things. Because in the moment, sometimes you don't. But we really try to take care of the details. And when you have good leadership, the details can be taken care of. They kind of fix themselves as they go. We're just reminders to them, because we've taught them to this point. We're just throwing reminders on how important these things are now. And you let them go and play. I mean, game days are for the players. Practice is for the coaches. And we really just try to manage games as best we can and put them in situations to succeed.
This has been incredible stuff. I have a couple other things I want to ask you. Do you have practice today? Is this an off day? Do you have 5 more minutes? Because you play Wednesday, right? So am I keeping you from anything right now?
We are off today. This is the perfect day to do this.
Okay, awesome.
We'll practice tomorrow night at 7 p.m. We want to get under the lights before we head to Southeastern.
Okay, that's exciting. Maybe I'll try to come by and catch some of that. Because, Southeastern, Wednesday, you're on the road. You're on the road again this upcoming weekend. And then the home opener at Billy Bundrick Field will be next Tuesday against Northwestern State.
Correct.
That's February 17th. All right? So let's get the calendar. Keep that in mind, folks. Come out to Billy Bundrick Field, because that's where I want to go next. I mean, the facilities, the tools, the resources that you have, headlined by that beautiful complex that you have here just outside Joe IA Stadium. It's a beautiful setting to play a game for fans and for players. And Also, an incredible tool, I'm sure, in recruiting. There can't be many programs outside the Power Four, that have at their disposal what the Bulldogs have access to, from the park, cages, offices, training, team rooms, all the trophies, the images plastered across the walls. I mean, it is a scintillating place.
Absolutely incredible, and it is a great recruiting tool for us. And when you look at our facilities and you do compare it to all the places that we go, I mean, we don't find too many spots that we'd rather be than in Dr. Billy Bundrick Field. And so our players are definitely grateful for their facilities, and we hear them talking about it when we're on the road on how nice our place is and how clean it is and how well done it is. And it's definitely a blessing to have that facility, and our players appreciate it, our coaches, and having that facility, all the rest of it kind of falls into place. I always tell my players, money doesn't make you happy, and we try to make them understand that. And all the things going on in college sports right now, a lot of people think that, and I've lived a different life than most coaches in my throughout my 52 years, but I definitely know for a fact that money just doesn't make you happy, and it's all the things and the people around you and all the thing, all of those types of things, the emotional stuff, the care that, the going to Dr. Henderson's house for dinner as a team, those are the things that matter. Those are always the things that matter. The road trips, the bus trips, the long rides, the team dinners, the hotel stays. Those are all the things that matter. And none of that is necessarily created by massive amounts of money. It's created by human bond and human development, and that's where we want to be about it at Louisiana Tech and our softball program. So, but having those facilities and what happened, I mean, when I first got here, Malcolm would say, the tornado was a big reason why we have those, and I have a connection to that with Berkeley still, and I have the American flag that was flying above the field when that tornado hit, in a frame in my office that was given to me by Malcolm when I got here. And I have other things around the facility to remind us of why we have it. So, the gratitude we have and what that team accomplished in 19, having to play on the road and still winning the championship and going to a regional, and senior day at Monroe, I think that's craziness to me. And Berkeley really told me all those stories, and so I can share those with our team, on why we have such an incredible facility and how grateful we should be for it. And our players definitely have embraced it and have a lot of gratitude for what we get to call home.
I love the message too about the modern era and all the changing pieces. You don't need to comment on this. You've already said enough, but this is just days removed from Paul Millsap's number 24 going to the Raptors at the TAC, and it made me ask the question, internally to myself, when's the next time we're going to have somebody that spends the amount of time, at a certain program or institution where their threads are honored in such a way. And with all the moving parts, Paul Millsap spoke to that. He was on the record after halftime talking about how, he wishes certain individuals and players think more about legacy and think more about, the family and all of the other things that you just spoke to. So, that's consistent. That's a timely response, certainly from you. I love, money may not make me happy, but the floating heads of the new mannequins with all the threads and the Bulldog uniforms for softball, when you enter that facility, that's pretty cool. It looks like the helmets are like floating. I think they're drilled into the back wall, but that's a pretty sick thing. It looks awesome. If you want to come by, certainly I know the recruits love it. I think we can get anybody that wants to come in and check it out. They can come see for themselves, but it is beautiful. I can't let you get out of here without acknowledging that I am in the presence of a Hall of Famer. All right, this man played baseball at Nevada. He's enshrined in the Hall of Fame as part of, what was it, the 1994 team?
Yes.
All right, the 94 team, the Nevada Athletics Hall of Fame. This happened in 2015 where you and the team went in. A team that finished with 41 wins, ranked as high as number 6 in the country, earned the program's first NCAA regional appearance. All I could find on you, and I didn't go deeply down this rabbit hole. Normally I do better, but you started 25 of 41 games, 284 average, homer, and 12 RBIs that season. At what position?
Second base.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Well, what do you love? I mean, you're a Hall of Famer, man. Do you like flex on people with that?
Well, I'm just grateful for that team. I mean, that was a really great special team. I mean, we're all on a text thread still to this day. And those are the kind of things I'm talking about is money doesn't make you happy. I don't comment much on those threads, but I love to see them. And when you look at that group of guys, and I didn't, this is my story too. As I told my team this just the other day when we're going through the playing time thing. I didn't play a lot, hardly at all at the beginning, but I had a role to fill, and I had to do what I was supposed to do on a daily basis. And when my opportunity came, I tried to make the most of it, and I did. And that was where I got through, the conference slate, pretty much starting every game. And it was a special time, and I learned a lot about myself during those moments of, I want to play more. I want to do this. My dad gave me a letter I wrote him during that year that said, I feel like I'm really playing well. I just hope I get in the line. I mean, all these things that just reminded me of where my mind was there too. And all those journeys and all those stories and those guys that were on that team, they've all just helped me become a better coach with a lot more perspective on how to go, what a championship team truly looks like. Whether you're playing or whether you're not, whatever your role is, we had guys on that team that didn't play much, but they were incredible at what they did. Whether it was pinch running, pinch hitting, defensive replacement, it didn't make any difference. They contributed. Everybody on that team contributed in some form or fashion at some point throughout that season to help us win on that day. And that's really what was incredible about that team. And when you look at that journey, and I look back on that journey, it was incredible. And we just happened to, be really good too. And so being able to be in the Hall of Fame class, that with that 94 team is an honor that nobody will ever take away from me. And, you'd mentioned Paul Millsap talking about legacy. Well, that feels better than any dollar bill I've ever gotten. And that will never go away. And it'll never go away. Our picture of that team will always be in Legacy Hall in Reno, Nevada, at the University of Nevada. And anytime I go back there, I can go and look at it. And that just is worth. You can't put a price tag on those things. And there was hardships along the way. That's the way it works. And, I think true. I told my players this just the other day that in the struggle lies it frames growth. In the struggle frames growth, and in the struggle is where true development lives. And if we can figure out that it's okay to struggle, and I'm just going to get better from it, we can be in a better place year after year after year. We'll never dip at Louisiana Tech in our softball program. And so they've bought into that, but I truly believe that. But I believe that from my experience at Nevada. I believe that from my experience in college. And there's some struggles in there, and it framed who I am today, and I wouldn't take any of it back for any reason.
I think that's a perfect place to put a pin in this conversation. I have other things, walk-up songs, how it was you went from baseball player, baseball coach to softball, but I think I have a feeling. Folks can certainly get more information on you and your team at LaTexSports.com. Follow you throughout the year. All the home games, as far as I know, are going to be on TV on ESPN Plus. So, and Malcolm will be a big part of that. So, all the best, Josh, to you this year. You get a special group. You're a special human. You got special folks all around you. So I'm excited to see what the 26, Bulldogs have for us on the diamond.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's Josh Taylor. I appreciate Carson so much, Kyle Kavanaugh, Jack, GB, the whole bunch, and you for watching and listening on Tech Drive. I'm the voice of the Bulldogs, Kyle Schasberger. We'll talk to you next week.